Hello, welcome. Thank you for letting me know that the sound is good. That's great. Okay. Thank you guys so much for not posting any questions before I begin. It's really great because, as you know, I do get behind quite easily anyway, so it's quite nice to begin with not too many questions basically. So, okay, Marie and Sarah, some people who haven't been in a while. Sadia, Tatiana, Miss Venus, Luna, Jan, Pooja, Kevin. Hello guys. Hello and welcome. Okay, so beginning with questions now, so I will not waste too much time and get to it, but I do have just a question from Marie that we're going to begin with because Marie hasn't been in for a while and hasn't asked too many questions lately. So let me just have to make sure Facebook is working anyway, in case the newcomers don't want to put full name and date of birth in the chat. So that's fine. There we go. It's open and working now. Okay. So Marie asks for a love card and a card of your choice, please. And yes, thank you for saying you wish we had a hope we had a great weekend. Yes, we've been wonderful, had a great weekend, great week beginning. So yeah, so we do have cards. I know we're mainly questions here lately, but we do have love cards, we do have spirit animal cards, and we do have unicorn cards as well. So yes, feel free to pick cards as well. Still trying to keep to one question per message if you can do that. Yes, so just in case it does get really busy, so if it's not super busy, I'll do like maybe two, but one per message will be best. So I'll just get to Marie's here and then get in with the questions. So a love card, there we are, a love card there, and it says, love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So I feel like you keep kind of getting quite similar messages as we go along. Look to kind of remind us to love yourself, to keep yourself first, because you are on that self-love, self-healing journey. So I think really those kind of messages are just affirming that. And then the other one you kind of tend to get is, worth waiting for as well. So I do think we tend to see those two messages for Marie, worth waiting for and love yourself first. So it's just about staying on that personal self-love journey as you work through to the connection, to the true love that you're working towards. And then I think she says a card of your choice as well. So let's do unicorn, because I do really like the unicorn ones. So there we are. And this is, it's very beautiful. Goddess, honor your divine feminine energy. See your inner beauty, love every part of you. So there we have another kind of self-love message as well, but talking a bit more about being in that divine feminine energy, being a goddess. I really like the image on that if you can't see it, and the light's a bit bright. Very purple in this card, and I do like to, if a card's predominantly one colour, I do like to look at the chakra that connects with that, and we have the third eye as well. So all about that spiritual journey, abilities, your own spiritual abilities as well, which is another thing that does come up commonly on Marie's path, so that's great. So our first question, I think we have, Excuse me. Jan, what are Caden's current feelings and thoughts about me and the connection? Okay. Okay, so there's still hesitation and nervousness, which are very commonly coming up for Jan lately. So hesitation and nervousness. There's still that very positive kind of, I would call it care as well as love, you know? There's really a great care about your feelings and how you might be feeling and how you might be thinking, even though he takes his time and it may seem and feel like he's really putting himself first and being very focused on himself, which is true, but there's this abundance of kind of care and love energy as well, which comes within that inability to really fully let go, as well as, you know, he's not fully moving forward but not fully letting go. So these kind of two opposing energies are quite common. I find that the positive energy and that kind of hesitation, nervous energy as well, is quite common. It seems to be coming up again and again and again. I know we've had things like fear come up before, and you know, some other emotions and energies coming in, but they are the main ones at this moment. A lot more kind of nervousness than really fear. So yes, that's what's coming up at the moment. Sarah, what was Richard thinking and feeling when he stayed here? Feeling very at home, and feeling a little bit as well of a release of pressure. So I feel a lot of the time when we look at how he feels and thinks about you, when you aren't together, there's a lot of pressure that really comes, you know, around him. He feels stresses and pressures, which tends to come with a lot of messaging, you know. And I think that when you're together, he's relieved from that. So there's a relief of pressure. So I don't know if there was particularly a lot of like back and forth before perhaps he was there or something like that. But there's definitely a relief of pressure and feeling more at home. So kind of, yeah, very like relieved, more relaxed, like he's able to, you know, release some tension and just relax a little bit. So yeah, so that's like the kind of underlying energy there, and there is some slightly low mood along with that. So there's some more positive energy where there's some relief, there's some kind of feeling a little bit more like he belongs a little bit, but there's a little bit of a low mood energy. So I know, of course, he's working through a lot of mental health things, so that's not unreasonable and, you know, not uncommon to come up in a situation like this. But it is something to keep a check on, you know, where ideally, you know, we want the emotions, the energy to be above that, maybe what you would say like average kind of threshold, I suppose. We really want it to be above that. Now, what I do see from, I know you have not been here in a while, although I have checked, you know, some things for you in messages and things, but I do feel that he is, he's a bit better in the mood than previous check, but he's still a little bit below what I ideally, you know, would look for and would want for him. He's still a little bit low in that, and that does seem to still be there as well when he's with you, when he's in person as well. So definitely something to look at and to check on that. But having the at home kind of feeling, the kind of relief kind of feeling, if he can really pinpoint that to being at, with you at your house and all of that, then he should, compare that to when he's not there and realise that even if his mood's still a bit low, he is feeling better. Pooja says, what are N's current thoughts and feelings for me? So thoughts are quite positive. There doesn't seem to be too much of a how do you say, like a frequency, really a lot of thought basically. So it's not like thinking every second of every day or anything like that. The frequency of thought seems to be quite few and far between, a little bit, not a lot of thought, but it is positive. There's positive thought when that thought does come. But in terms of feelings, the feelings seem to be quite a little bit neutral. They're not negative, they're not really low, but they are a little bit kind of neutral or positive, but not overly positive. It's not like thinking all the time and it being really like high energy and vibrant. It's not too much of the time, and it's kind of, it's a bit more than neutral. It's not negative, but it's not too positive, if that makes sense. Trying to like put it in like a scale of where it would be. Miss Venus, do people ask Omar about who I am when he tags me in his stories? If so, what does he say about our connection and about me? Okay, so let's do that question first. Do people ask Omar about who I am when he tags me in his stories? Okay, so it does seem like there has been questions about that. There has been. There's particularly one person coming up that has definitely asked that, so there's definitely a confirmation that someone has asked that. There's also some indication that there's some assumptions as well from people, so some kind of like, perhaps these are people who aren't as close with him, just making assumptions about that and not really asking and like seeking it out, just kind of assuming and assuming that. But then she also asks, what does he say about our connections and about me? Okay, so let's look into this where we do see that he said something. Okay, so there does seem to be a comment, and it's something like the girl that I'm seeing. So it's not saying a girlfriend or anything like that, like an official title kind of thing, but there is the girl, so it's kind of not like a girl that I'm seeing, so it's that kind of language as it is the person. But yes, not as in to say a girlfriend. So yes, but saying the and not a is the important thing to take from that, I feel. Sid says, is the energy in my flat all good and positive? And I actually read that for a moment as I just skipped Kevin's question, but I read that as is the air flat? Yeah, I don't know why I read that. Okay, Kevin, sorry, I skipped Kevin's question there. So, what were A's thoughts and feelings during and after listening to my singing early this November? Okay, thoughts and feelings during and after listening to my singing. Okay, so feelings look quite neutral. And thoughts, there's not really anything coming through for specific thoughts here. Yeah, so there's no specific kind of specific thing that's coming up in his thoughts, but a neutral energy. So I suppose being kind of perhaps impressed or feeling quite like it's it's enjoyable, but no specific thoughts, no specific kind of like phrase or specific thought that went around in the mind. So, but it's kind of like a neutral, more on the positive side. It's not a negative feeling, but it does seem to be quite neutral, which I always feel when it's neutral, but it's not negative. It's more on the, because obviously neutral is the middle. You can go more on the lower side or on the higher side. I feel like when it's neutral, but not there's nothing. It's a bit more positive. I feel like it's kind of it's positive, but it's very passive. Almost like perhaps he doesn't want to overthink about it, or he just didn't really think much about it, not in a negative way, but perhaps just thinking more about other areas, or being distracted, or if there's any specific other thing maybe that he did think about you, but not particularly about the singing. So it's not negative, but it's just quite flat a little bit, if that makes sense. I know, like, when I say neutral, I always feel like it sounds bad. It's not necessarily bad if it's neutral. Of course, you really want it to be more positive, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes neutral can come if it's an area where they maybe don't focus as much. So if someone focuses more on, how you looked, or your personality, or your something that was going on separate from you, then their energy can be a bit neutral in a certain topic. And then Sid's question that was not about the earth being flat. Is the energy in my flat all good and positive? Okay. Yes. So it looks like there's a little bit of kind of like tension, maybe stress kind of energy. If you've had an emotional experience over the last few days, maybe something that's maybe gone wrong, or something that's if you've had any issues, any worries, sometimes we can kind of release, especially if we feel intense emotion within ourselves. If we're in the space that we always kind of surround ourselves in, you can feel stress or tension or lower energy. Sometimes if someone's really in a low mood, they can bring that energy of their space down eventually, it does feel like there's a little bit of tension in there. So it might be stress, it might be worry about something that's kind of expanded out into your space a little bit, but it doesn't feel to be so negative as in something, coming in to you, negative from someone else kind of projecting at you or anything like that. But it does feel to be a little bit of a maybe stress or tension that you may have released into the space. Jan, when is reconciliation? Okay, let's look at the soonest but prominent reconciliation. So I'm not going to go if there's like a 10 or 20, a low percentage. I'm not going to look at that, but soonest prominent. Okay, so I'm guessing like a time frame. The very end of this month to the very beginning of January. So it's kind of spanning over December, but it's a little bit more, you know, so a little bit at the end of this month, a little bit beginning of January. There. Melina, hello. Luna, hello. Oh, Miss Venus says, how are your allergies and sicky feelings going, Venus? I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I tend to be a bit sniffly in winter anyway, but because of how I was throughout the whole summer as well, I'm not really sure on it. I feel like they're kind of gone, but my nose does get a bit itchy still, so I'm kind of like, now I'm kind of wondering, is my sniffliness because of a cold, or do I still have these allergies, whatever they were? They're definitely not as bad as they were, but my nose does still feel a lot itchy a lot of the time, which doesn't usually happen in winter. I'm usually very sniffly throughout winter, but not in the summer, and I don't get an itchy nose, so it definitely does feel different, but I can't really kind of pinpoint what it is, you know, and I've tried, and I've kind of done holistic therapies, taking normal antihistamines, you know, like pharmaceutical or over-the-counter kind of ones, also more holistic alternative therapy ones, energy work on myself and things like that as well. And I'm definitely better than I was, but it's still there a little bit. So yeah, I'm kind of hope that I'm kind of coming to the end of it and kind of healing. Feel a lot better than I did in the summer, I will be completely honest. Absolutely a lot better. But yeah, I would say that there's still a little bit of something there going on in my nose, but I'm not sick in any way. I don't feel sick at all. I'm not having any kind of other symptoms, basically. So just kind of itchy nose and sneezing sometimes. But my nose is not as bad as it has been. So thank you for asking. Thank you very much. I will just continue on with energy work basically, and some herbs maybe, because I don't really feel like any kind of antihistamine things really helps at all. But I'm taking like the usual winter supplements I would take in the winter for the cold, so I just keep doing that and doing more self Reiki, because I think that's one thing, you know, with anybody else I would recommend it, but when it comes to myself, I do kind of always forget. So I do a lot of throat Reiki for my self-expression and, you know, speaking online and all that, but when it comes to actually, if I get sick or if I get a cold, I totally overlook it, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to keep up with that. Thank you for asking. I'm just going to say I haven't seen anyone new yet, I don't think, but of course my chat tells me there's 20 people in, and I as always, you know, I'm behind in the chat now, so I will just say, if you are new, please read the pinned comment, full name and date of birth before your question. If you are new, it does really help me. If you do want to send it privately and don't want it to be public in the YouTube chat, just send it on Facebook or email, and they're both in the description again as well. But if you're happy to put it in the YouTube chat, that's a lot easier for me. Yeah, I think that's it. So, Sid, will the percentage chance of me seeing my fiance in his full physical form in December? Okay, the percentage chance. 65%. Sarah, has he spoken to anyone recently about moving in? No. Racer? Is my current boyfriend the one I will marry in the future? Yes, there's a high possibility of marriage between you both. Kevin, and welcome back as well. It's been a while since I saw you in chat, so welcome back. Kevin was trying to check me out yesterday. What were his thoughts? Yes. So there seems to be questioning himself. So it's almost like asking himself to look at you or to think about you as well, and think about how he feels. You know, it's almost like trying to be honest with himself about how he feels and what is going on. You know, trying to kind of confront his emotions and his thoughts and trying to get them straight in his mind. Tatiana, how do men see me physically? Okay, so men in general, it is quite broad, but I will maybe see if I can look at, because of course, you know, any different man could see you differently. So I will perhaps ask some recent thoughts that men have had recently, you know, recent people that have seen you maybe, you know, the past few days or so, and ask that. Yeah, I don't want to not do anything or not answer it in any way, because of course I know I'm quite behind now. I don't want to make you have to wait, you know, until I get all the way to the end if you want to change the question. So yeah, I will see like any recent kind of emotions, thoughts, anything that came to mind recently in some men. Okay, yes, so there is kind of like a range going on here. There's a lot of kind of neutral. So there is some, well, I say a lot, there's a few kind of neutral. So these are people who don't really have a strong kind of attraction or strong emotion, strong thoughts. You know, neutral's kind of like there's no ill intent or ill will or thinking anything negative about you basically, but nothing overly positive. And there's a few of those. So when I say a few, like maybe 2, 3 of those. But then there's also attraction as well. So there's someone coming up with attraction and kind of like a warmth, kind of positive, positive, I don't know, I can't say that, energy towards you. Yeah, so like attraction, warmth, positive energy, and like I said, a few kind of more neutral. So yeah, that's what's coming through about some recent thoughts. Yes, Leon says thank you for not posting questions beforehand. It really helps. Well, I say it really helps. I'm still really behind, but I'm sure it will help in the end when I have to kind of finish, because I do have to finish at just before 10:30 GMT. So we're only at 7 p.m. GMT now, so we do have over 3 hours to go. But just putting that out there now because we have to go and help my mum. She's decorating the house, so she needs some help with moving like heavy furniture. So we're just going to go over and just move some things around after this, and yeah, so we're going to do that in a little bit. But we have over 3 hours. Maybe in about 2 hours, I will put my little winding down in the chat, and we'll see where we can get to. So Jan, was Cadence sad that I didn't say I love you in my birthday text to him? I would say every year, but he held back this year for obvious reasons. Okay. Okay, so it doesn't come up that he's sad about it, but there's definitely a thought-provoking element to it. So I would say that it's overall quite a positive move, because it does seem to be some thought-provoking within that. So, you know, obviously he can't expect you to continue to always love him, you know, of course. At one point, if he stays where he is, you will move on, but it does seem like it's kept some kind of cogs turning, which he definitely needs, you know, because he's so kind of slow with his movement that he definitely does need that. So I would say overall that's quite positive. Message retracted. Pooja, I'm very confused about pursuing CFA. Should I really start? Sorry if you can hear that, like a motorbike outside somewhere. Should I really start studying for it, as it would be helpful in the long term? It comes as yes that there will be some benefit to it. So it's not like you absolutely have to, but there is kind of a positive positivity coming up about that. Sarah, when's it looking like he moves in? Okay, so let's check the kind of, like I said, I will do prominent next opportunity to move in. Not looking at anything that's too low prominence, because yeah, I don't want to be looking at anything that's too low prominence. We want to really pinpoint, you know, a positive prominent opportunity. So when is it looking like he moves in? Okay, so there are two coming up. There is one that's very kind of mid-December, which is around 60, but then there's the mid to end, so kind of like the around maybe 20th, I would say, of January, which is a bit higher in prominence, so that's 75, but there is a kind of 60-ish% in December as well. Lulima, Nico's current energy towards me, why he's not talking much. Okay. Okay, so there's a kind of underlying positive energy that seems to be slightly increasing. So I can't, off the top of my head, can't think about when I actually last checked it, but it definitely feels to be increasing somewhat in positive energy, but that's very kind of underlying. Ahead of that, above that, more forefront in his mind, there seems to be some upset. So some kind of, I don't know if this is a miscommunication or a misunderstanding, but there's some upset with something you've said or something that's happened. There's a bit of upset, but beneath those kind of deeper feelings, do feel to be a bit more positive. I think I have picked up that they've been kind of maybe neutral in the past, or not quite as positive as this, at least. Kevin, what are A's current feelings and thoughts about me? How much has it changed? Okay. So there doesn't really feel to be much change in the feelings towards you. The main change really seems to be in kind of trying to be certain. So it's a lot more about questioning, which I know has come up before. I do feel that this is something that he has done before, and it's not completely new. But it does seem to be that there's more about that. There's more questioning, more kind of trying to really get it straight in his head and think, what are my feelings? What could just be, I suppose, just wanting to know that, like, I feel this positive energy, I feel this attraction in a way, I also feel this kind of confusion. So trying to get really straighten out that confusion as well. A's current feelings. Benita, what is my future spouse's profession? In the medical field, medical profession. Miss Venus, what does Omar think about my spirituality and the things I tell him? Does he believe it himself? Okay, so it seems like he has quite a relaxed and a little bit open kind of mindset. So it seems like it feels like he's not very judgmental about other people's like beliefs and other people's kind of experiences or beliefs or anything like that. There does seem to be a little bit of skepticism in a broad sense. So maybe skepticism in the sense of if someone was to tell him or you were to tell him or anything about a specific experience, he may have some skepticism to it. So there's not it's not like he's someone who just is totally kind of like a believer in things. It does seem to be a little bit of skepticism, but also a relaxedness around that as well. So not, like I said, not in a judgmental way. So sometimes skeptics can be quite judgmental and can be very, like atheists don't want to believe like anything. It's not really that kind of energy. It feels like quite relaxed, but with some skepticism, but non-judgmental. So I hope that makes sense. Sorry, what did you actually ask? What do you think about your spirituality and the things I tell him? Oh yeah, so that was kind of very broad. So I do feel like it does translate to you, but that was a very broad look. So what does he think about your spirituality and the things you tell him, okay? Yeah, so there's definitely an openness, and he does believe that you have, the experiences and the things that you say, he does believe. So it's almost like, if you were to say like, I had this astral projection experience, or I had this meditative experience, he would believe that you had that experience. So there's definitely a belief. So not really thinking that you're like fabricating or exaggerating or anything like that. There is a belief in that, and an openness to, willing to learn, willing to understand and listen, and there's intrigue as well. So a kind of intrigue. So. Maybe that's because of what he saw, but yeah, that's good, I suppose. Well, it's good. Oh yes, so I answered that. That was asked earlier. Jan, I have a feeling Cadence currently is grieving a family member or pet. Is this true? So there's a really big pain and really emotional kind of energy about something, about someone. So just trying to gauge exactly, is this a past? Is this because someone has passed? Or is this like a different kind of issue? I don't want to just go ahead and say yes if it's a different kind of issue. It definitely is linked within the family. There's definitely a family feeling there. And I know he's had worries and things like that about family and about things like that before. So this could be someone who's sick or something like that. So just trying to gauge if it's actual passing or just illness or worry, you know? Yeah, it seems a lot more like worry. It seems a lot more like worry than, an event that's happened and he's looking back to it. So I'm not saying that people don't worry after things have happened, but I don't want to say yes and completely confirm that if there's still a worry there. So it does feel like there's definitely a illness or an issue or something, but there's a lot of kind of like worry energy around it. So I don't want to confirm completely if I'm not getting a definite yes or no on a passing, basically. I'm just going to take a moment, see if anything else does come up with that. No, but there is a really, really low emotion there though. So I would, I would probably lean to yes if there wasn't so much worry energy. Like I said, worry. We of course can worry after an event, but worrying tends to be more about. It's kind of like worrying in anticipation of something. So I'm definitely feeling that it's a illness or a big issue. I don't want to completely confirm that someone has passed there. With really serious issues like that, well, with anything really, I don't like to say yes or no if I don't get a definite yes or no, which is why I will say like negative, neutral, positive, and make sure I'm only saying what definitely does come through. Sarah, what does his sister have to say about the pregnancy? Okay. So there's a lot of positive energy, positive expressions, positive communications, about it. An interesting thing that's coming up here is that there does seem to be a bit of a kind of like she is talking about his level of input. So how much input is he going to have, so it does seem like I wouldn't necessarily say raising concern. I don't feel like she's really sat him down and said, you have to be, a more attentive father. You have to be there. I don't feel like it's kind of telling him off, but there is some kind of questioning of like, now you have more than one child together, and it seems like it's almost like she's pushing at that a little bit, but she's not sitting him down and telling him off. But there is some questioning about how much he will be there and if he will be more in the picture, if that makes sense. So there does seem to be some talk around that. but not in her like kind of telling him off, if that makes sense. Kevin, I got the intuition that A might have dreamt about me recently. Did he actually dream of me? If so, how was it? Okay. Interesting. No, that's actually coming as no at the moment. So, but interesting. I always say, do not discount your intuition. If you've had that intuition recently, it could be daydreams because there's definitely has been, thoughts about you. But it could also be that it just has not happened yet. So, I would never say, don't discount your intuition. It could be that he has not had that dream yet. Maybe coming. Lolima, do you see me clearing my Dubai exam by February, March? Yes, it's a possibility by March, yes. Pooja, how does Anne think about my looks and appearance? Positive, attraction, yes, a very positive energy. Benisa says, what is the first letter of my future spouse's name? So, yeah, let's look at that. Let's see if we can get a letter. M. M is coming up. So I'm not guessing exactly if this is first or last, but I am getting M. Jan, what did Caden mean by trying to make a comeback status? Okay, so it seems to be about trying to get back to where he was within himself. So really trying to be. So it seems like he really feels like there was this time when everything was really great. He felt positive. He was happy with his life in a holistic way, which he hasn't really felt like in a long time. There's been a few different issues going on. Not too many, but at various times. So he feels like it's almost like a not really feeling whole, not feeling really like himself, if that makes sense, for a long time or for a while. Miss Venus, when is Omar going to formalise the relationship with me? And do you see him asking me to be his girlfriend or assuming we're a couple already? Okay. So the last half of December seems to be the most prominent time frame. So yeah, I do see it as him asking, in a kind of official way, for you to be his girlfriend. He could say it in a sense like, are we going to kind of label this what it is or something like that? But it does seem like bringing it up and not really just assuming, if that makes sense. Sarah, has his sister Sam said anything recently? Yes, there's been conversations about the baby, about him, and you, and his kind of, where he's at, kind of, in a sense, like where he's at, what he his plans are, where he's at. Yes. Thank you, Leon. Yes. So Leon says remember to like and subscribe. I feel like most of you here are subscribed. But please do like the video if you haven't already. And of course, if you do realise that you aren't subscribed, please do so. I would really appreciate that. If you're new here, and I just haven't got to you yet, and please bear in mind I do get very behind in the chat. So if you're new and you're kind of waiting and thinking where's she up to, which we do get, I am behind in the chat. I always am a little bit behind in the chat. Sometimes, answers don't come through straight away on the crystal ball. That time I spend reading the comments, looking into the ball, it does add up and I do fall behind. So please do have patience. The questions are free. It's all just kind of about having patience on here if you're new. Please refer to the pinned comment and the description, to send your question. I do need your full name and date of birth if you're new. I prefer it to just go in the chat with your question. It's a bit easier, but you are welcome to send that by email or Facebook if you are quite a private person, you don't want that in the YouTube chat. Basically, you can send it by email or Facebook. And for anyone who is new or just in, we do have love cards as well, spirit animal cards, and unicorn cards as well. So that's our card selection for the day. And specific questions for the crystal ball. They don't have to be yes or no, but please not too broad, because I'm not doing full readings here. It's kind of quick fire questions, so not too broad. I will just take this moment as well, just while we're here, and I do see some members in the chat. We have, I should say, a dream interpretation stream coming up on the... Oh no, I can't jump out of this chat. It pulled me down to the bottom, so sorry. I'm offline on this device somehow. I think it's the 12th. I'm pretty sure it's the 12th of December anyway. So I'm pretty sure it's the 12th, but I just double check it. Yes. Oh no, it's the yes, it is the 12th. Sorry, the 12th of December. There's a members only dream interpretation stream. So please do send in your dreams if you're planning to. Then please send them in as soon as possible, because if people don't send them in, I will change the stream so we can have something that more people want. But if you are going to send a dream in, of course you can always send one in at a later date if you haven't had one that you want interpreting yet. But if you have, please do make sure that you send it in soon. I would really appreciate that. And I do see a few members in the chat, so just thought I'd take that moment to say that. It's members only because of, in the end, when it does get down to the 10th, 11th, I do end up getting quite a few sent in, and I just thought that it would be good to give the members a chance to have theirs interpreted, as a priority kind of thing. So please do send them in if you... I did a poll and you guys did say you wanted one. If you haven't had any interesting dreams, then of course you can't send it, I suppose, but if you do have some, do please send them. I think that's everything I wanted to say. So don't forget you can suggest themes of streams, and I see Luna here asking for a shadow card, but I don't know if we have them today. Miss Venus, Does my twin flame Oscar talk to his mum about me? She commented such sweet things in my pics from Mexico. Okay. Okay, so not really. It seems more like she has asked, what happened with you two, and kind of almost like I think that she kind of sees that he's not in the best place, in the best, situation within himself and within his kind of love life. So I do think that in a way kind of like prompts that a little bit. He definitely has spoken about you since breaking up and everything like that, but it does seem like she kind of asks, so she does kind of instigate a little bit and ask. Yeah, it seems like quite more so recently. She has asked a few times. Yeah, so asked a little bit about, I wouldn't really say what happened, but kind of mentioned you a little bit, It seems like she has mentioned as well that she's seen you as well. But yeah, I think that she's a bit, I wouldn't say worried, maybe a little bit kind of concerned about him not really feeling like himself sometimes, seeming like himself, having a bit of issues in his love life basically, and she's kind of comparing that to how he seemed in the past and how he's kind of seeming now, and comparing where his love life is basically as well. Benita says, when will I get married to my future spouse? And when will I meet him? Okay. So it looks like you will meet in 2025, and it looks like more the beginning side of the year. And marriage looks to be 2027. Yeah, so I'm going to just grab the shadow cards, just in my Christmas blanket here. Yeah, it might as well, since they've been requested. Shadow healing. So we do now have shadow healing as well. They're a bit see-through. I'll read it. Dishonesty. Don't confuse dishonesty with a difference of opinion. Everyone has their own take on the situation, and you are required to respect the differences. Okay, so I suppose it can go both ways here. So, don't, if someone has a difference of opinion, don't just believe that they are being dishonest, or don't be kind of swayed to believe that they may be a dishonest person or lying about something just because you clash a lot or have a difference of opinion. But also, if someone is dishonest to you, someone is, a negative and dishonest person, don't just think that they have a difference of opinion to you. So it can go both ways, don't kind of brush over someone else's dishonesty or lies just as seeing them as having a difference of opinion. So when we get the shadow cards, it can point to our own shadows. So if you believe someone's dishonest because they have a difference of opinion, then that will be your own shadow. But we can sometimes be being drawn to other people's shadows as well, and being given a warning about them. So if you if someone's dishonest to you, don't overlook it as them just having a difference of opinion, or just being kind of, having a different belief or outlook on life. Don't kind of underestimate someone's dishonesty, basically. Raisa says, will my parents eventually approve my current boyfriend? And then his information and birthday. So yes, we'll just check that. Yes, this comes as yes. Jan, is Caden's heart still set on coming back to me? Is it still winning over in his mind? He still has a inability to let that idea go. So just as much as there is an inability to completely commit to it, there's an inability to let it go as well. And that's kind of, what we need to bank on and what we need to focus on, because just as he isn't fully committing to it, he isn't fully letting it go either. And there's always a reason for that, And that's what we have to look at, especially when we get disheartened and things like that, is why can he not let you go? When someone is completely set on a different path, they're completely set on, finding a new love, going on a new path, they can do that. They can cut contact, they can get in a new relationship. And when people fail to do that and kind of keep that communication channel open with their old partner, there's always a reason for that. Tatiana, is there something I need to know? Oh, sorry, I'm not doing broad questions like, is there something I need to know? So a very broad question like, is there something I need to know? Is there something you can tell me in love? What's coming for me in money for the rest of the year? These can open very big readings. These can be questions that open a kind of 20 up to maybe 40, even sometimes longer conversations. When people book a reading with me, they might just say love theme please, and that can still be a 45-minute reading, on its own. So I ask for on the stream specific questions, much more pinpointed. So what I will do for Tatiana is I will pull a spirit animal card and see what we get here. Okay, so I don't think we've had this one on stream before. Very lovely. Starfish spirit, open to infinite possibility. And it's interesting because what we know about starfish, or what we believe, I believe this is true, if you cut a leg off a starfish, they will grow it back. So there's a message within starfish about resilience. So just because you may be, kind of disarmed in one way, if you have some kind of unfortunate event, some disadvantage, the lesson of resilience is to overcome that and to become whole again, to really ensure that your strength, you have strength and you're really strong to be able to come right back. So there's a message of resilience. I always like to, when I'm working with a specific spirit animal, I always like to kind of ask to be channeled the energy of them, the strength of them. And when they have a specific strength, like resilience or strength in itself, I like to ask for that, channel strength to me, channel resilience to me. Another thing about starfish as well, like it does say in the message, open to infinite possibility, any possibility. So if we think about like the leg being cut off, and think of that as a possibility being taken away. A possibility might be taken away, or they might just not grasp it in time. But there's always, they always have this new possibility coming right back. So there's always a new possibility coming in. It's kind of that phrase, like when one door closes, another opens. When one leg is cut off a starfish, another grows back. It's all about really believing that just because you might miss an opportunity or not be able to take that opportunity, another one's going to come right back to you. So resilient energy and positive energy, and really believe that those opportunities are available to you, because our energy and our thought process, our mindset, is very important for manifesting and our life path in general as well. Miss Venus, does my twin flame Oscar know or suspect I've moved on, and has he moved on? So yes, he knows and feels that you have moved on, and he has not fully moved on. So he has moved on. He has moved on in moving forward with the love path, meeting someone new, and all of that kind of thing. But there's kind of still a holding on a little bit, a kind of a nostalgic energy, kind of not fully released, if that makes sense. Which is common with twin flames, it can be difficult, even if you know that you're in a better place. Because we have our soul families and we have our twin flame, and of course the twin flame is always the more turbulent relationship, or it's usually the more turbulent relationship. We have really amazing ups but really difficult downs, but our soulmate relationships tend to be more harmonious, more balanced. The ups might not be quite as strong as the twin flame, but we don't have those really negative lows as well. So a twin flame relationship, because of the great turbulence, or even just that great positive emotion, it's very difficult to kind of let go. And of course, being kind of two parts of a soul as well, it is difficult to fully move on. But we do have to kind of make that decision, and a lot of us, for those of us who do meet our twin flame and our soulmate, we do have to kind of make that decision. Do we want to be with one or the other? Kevin, what's the percentage for me to get an abroad job placement if I don't give the actuary exams? Um, 70%. So you have 70% there. I'm sorry that I always steal that word, and I should maybe Google it and learn how you actually pronounce it. But yeah, I never bothered to do it. Sarah, what's his mum's thoughts and feelings on everything? Okay, so his mum's... Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Let me just... So sorry. Really sorry about that. I'm sorry if it was loud. I did cover my nose, but yeah, it might have been loud. I'm really sorry. Sarah, what's his mum's thoughts and feelings on everything? Okay, so her thoughts and emotions on the relationship and the situation, the pregnancy and all of that. So she feels very positive about it, but she's not overly concerned about it. So I do feel like where I picked up that there was someone else who was kind of, sitting with him and kind of putting a little bit of, you're having another child, you do need to think about kind of being there, or are you going to, be there a bit more, kind of that kind of energy. She doesn't really tend to have that, but she is feeling very positive on it and very happy about the baby. sorry. Jan, has Kaden been flirting with other girls, and if so, who? No, there's no recent or new kind of flirting coming up here. So just while I put that up there, I would just like to say thank you to the members as well. And especially if you are a member and you have suggestions for streams that you would like as a members only stream, do let me know. Of course, we are doing members only crystal ball streams, but anything else that you really liked or that you might really like to have at some point, just let me know. So, Pooja, back in 2019, when me and Em were together, did he really have true feelings for me? We were not committed though. Yes. Benita says, when will I start my F&P job? It looks most prominently like January. Lolima, which country should I be aiming at next move in career so that I could shortlist my options? I think that I'm really very happy to help with it, but I think that, you know, there's a few things that I could look at, so a few kind of questions I could ask for that. So I could ask questions like, what is the, highest job opportunity, highest abundance job opportunity you could get, and where is that? So there's the highest abundance opportunity, but then there's also things like soonest, most fulfilling. So don't forget, we all have different opportunities and possibilities in our life. So I love to do this, I love to work with people in readings and energy work and all of that, but this probably isn't the most abundant job that I could do, I don't like to charge too much because I don't think that's fair on people, but in my opinion and my energy and my heart and everything, this is the most fulfilling thing to me and the thing I want to do more than anything. And even if a reader would tell me that if I went into this field or this field I would make more money, I wouldn't want to do that, if that makes sense. So I think that it depends on if your main goals are the fulfillment of your emotional fulfillment, being near. Sometimes when we don't have our forever kind of person, our soulmate or whatever, as well, sometimes we want to be in a place where it's more likely that we'll meet them as well. So especially if we're travelling for work, we might care more about, I do care about making money, but I want to be in at least a location where I'm more likely to meet that person. So there could be a personal fulfillment, meeting that person, or it could just be the place where I want to make the most money, So it kind of depends on what you really most want to pinpoint, because we all want those things. We all want money. We all want, the best love path we can have, and we all want fulfillment. But there's a variety of things you can do, and I know the reason I'm saying this as well for Lolima is because I've seen a lot of opportunities available for you and a lot of kind of different paths in different countries as well. So I think that you are at least having what is most important to you. Is it about going to that place where you're most soon going to meet that person? Is it about just simply the most money, or is it about long term how fulfilled you will be? Because even in a job where we're more fulfilled, you know, over time we might be able to get to a higher abundant energy. You know, you might be able to get promotions down the line where eventually you will have that most abundance. But if I just ask for the most abundance, it would probably give me the soonest most abundance you can have. So yeah, I know that's not a great answer, but there is so many there's so many factors in, especially when we're willing to move abroad as well for work. There's become so many other factors available available to us. When we're willing to go in a different path for study, when we're willing to move to a different country, there becomes so many more options we could have, which is why I can't really just ask which country should I be aiming at next moving in Korea, because it does depend on what is most important to you. Love, money, and being in a good location are important to everyone, but what is the most important, or the thing you most want overall? Miss Venus, and as well, if it's something a bit more broad like that, I mean, Lilima is a member of the highest tier, which is the crown chakra, which does mean that she has a session with me every month as well for free. So the members of the higher tier, which is the crown chakra, get a free session. Well, it's not free, it's complimentary because you do pay for the membership, but a complimentary session every month. And if you want to really delve more into Korea, we could do a reading on that, where we could look at you know, the love path, the most abundant money path, and any other factors that could come into it, like family as well, you know, being close to family and things like that. And we could maybe pinpoint a bit more, because I know we do ask quite a lot of career questions, and I'm happy to do that, so I don't want you to take it like I'm not happy to do that. But if you want to really get into it, we could maybe do a reading more focused on it. Miss Venus, what are Omar's insecurities about starting a relationship in general? Omar's insecurities about starting a relationship in general. Okay. Okay, so in general, there does seem to be there's worries that kind of come up, or kind of concerns or thoughts that come up, that are very much pinpointed to things like matching. So someone who will match, kind of not match in the sense of be exactly him, you know, like someone who is exactly like him, like being in a relationship with someone that's exactly like you. Not like that, but matching just as in resonating, going well, gelling well, you know, all of that, over long term. So it seems like he knows that he is kind of, I don't want to say gets bored easily, because I think that gives the wrong impression, but kind of, I suppose, a bit fun, a bit maybe adventurous, which we've seen, you know, travelling together and things like that. But he does seem to kind of understand that he likes to have fun and be, you know, kind of entertained in a sense. So, you know, someone who can kind of match that energy, and who isn't too boring or settled, in the sense of I don't mean settled like settled down, but I mean settled like too set in the ways, too much into a routine, too much kind of not with like no really spontaneity. So it does seem like he wants to, if he's going to be in a long-term relationship, he wants to make sure that it's always refreshed, and it's always not like you always have to be doing something new every single weekend, you know, not like that, but he doesn't want to be it to get too settled and too kind of stagnant in that way. Some people are very, very to me this sounds obvious because I'm that kind of person. I like to always be doing new things, but there are people who are very homely, very routine set, very happy to just be sat watching TV all the time, and he doesn't seem like that kind of person. He seems like the kind of person that is not doesn't have an aversion to a routine, but does want, you know, things to be a bit interesting and, you know, spontaneous at times, and mixing things up a little bit, basically. So it does seem to be some kind of not wanting to rush into things in general. So this is general, this is not about you specifically. So in general, he kind of likes to or wants to make sure that he feels that out a little bit. Make sure that it's, you know, he wants to be with that kind of person, basically. So that's one thing that does come up, which I do feel I have kind of felt that before, touched on that a little bit before as well. Yeah, and there just seems to be the only other real thing that's coming up that's a broad thing, so not particularly looking at you, but wanting to not rush into things, so wanting to not be too quick, which is good. You know, I do agree to not be too quick, don't jump into too quick. But yes, like I said, that they're broad. It's not really like looking at you specifically for that. Yes, which is what you asked. Yeah, relationship in general. So just see if anything else comes up there. Insecurities about starting a relationship in general. Yeah, that's all that's rarely coming up. There does seem to be a worry about not really. It does kind of link in to, I suppose, rushing, but there does seem to be a worry about as well about not fully knowing someone, not fully really understanding that person's personality, but also motives as well. So there is a little bit of a worry. I would say it's not really too strong, but there is a little bit of a worry of the that person's motives not being clear. So dishonesty, you know, dishonesty, cheating, all of that kind of thing as well. So understanding someone's motives, or making sure someone doesn't have ulterior motives, should I say, as well. So yeah, again, very general. I'm not saying that he thinks that about you, but that's coming through a little bit as well. Kevin, what's the best option for me in terms of living situation for college next year? Staying at my current rental, sharing rental with A, or staying in a hostel or something different? Okay. Best option. Sorry, just forgot the question there. So it does seem like ever so slightly, the best option is to stay where you are, but it's not really too much better, if that makes sense, than moving in, to then moving to another place. But it does seem to be a little bit more prominent there. Sarah says, when is it looking like, maybe that was a firework. I'm sorry. Just bear with me 1 second. I just got a strange message and I didn't know what it was, but it was actually a reply to something that I had asked and forgot that I'd asked. No, I just saw it and I thought that doesn't seem like it's a message for me, but it makes sense now. Okay, Sarah, when is it looking like the mum's boyfriend will move in? Okay. So between the beginning of January and the beginning of February looks most prominent. I've just seen some Facebook requests for questions, so really sorry to not get to the Facebook that quite quickly. I think I will just do want to see how far down I am in the chat. Okay, so I will just go over just why we're here in case anyone is new. The readings are free. There's no limit on questions, but please do ask one per message to give other people a chance. Let a few other people ask questions beneath you before you ask again. Please subscribe if you are new. Like the video if you haven't already. And if you are new, please put your full name and date of birth with your question. It does help me to connect with your energy. If you're very private, you don't want the full name and your full name and date of birth to be in the YouTube chat, you can message me through Facebook or email, which are both in the description of the video. But if you are happy to put your full name and date of birth with the question, it's easier for me to do it that way. I'm going to do a few more questions, and then I'm just going to quickly take a moment break just to go to the toilet. I'll be right back. So yeah, I'm just going to do a few more here. Jan, when can I expect communication or movement from Caden? Okay. Okay, so around a week and a half for communication there. Svetlana, what to expect in love in 2024? So I know maybe Svetlana typed that before I said this before, or something like that, but I'm not doing full readings, so love in 2024 would probably be like a 45-minute to an hour reading in its own. But I will pull Svetlana a love card, basically. So a love card here for Svetlana, worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. So don't worry if you feel like your kind of partner, your the one, if it seems to have taken a little while, don't worry about that. Divine timing, sometimes it's very disheartening sometimes when, even if we're not like manifesting as such, when we just want something, we just want to have that person or have that job or have whatever. When alignments are being made for us, and where we have specific life path events like meeting a partner, it can take time, and sometimes that partner comes into your life at a specific time for a reason. So because they're healing, sometimes it's their path. You might be completely ready, but your soulmate, your twin flame, whatever it is, isn't quite ready yet because they're in a relationship. Maybe they might be having that karmic lesson before they meet you or anything like that. So worth waiting for, divine timing. Just kind of affirmation that it is coming. Sorry if it takes time. Basically the angels saying sorry if it takes time. Miss Venus, do you see another trip or plan like that for Omar and I soon? If so, when? Yes, and March is coming through quite strongly. March. So I'm just going to, sorry, I'm up to Pooja here. Pooja's question, and it's how is N and A's relationship going? And I'm just going to, first I'm going to, there's 3 Facebook questions that I'm just going to get to because I've been leaving them for quite a while. So Shweta, I have seen in the chat when I accidentally scrolled all the way down. Shweta, how are me and Summit connected to each other from our past lives? Okay. You've been married in a past life before. So yeah, that comes through. Of course, if it's a love interest, if there's a lifetime where we've been together in a marriage or a relationship, that will come through most strongly. That's not to say you haven't had other lifetimes together. You may have had like a karmic relationship at some point, or a friendship or something, business partners, anything like that. But if you had a romantic connection, that will come through. So I'm going to pull now a tarot for Wandering Koala. It's going to be a spirit animal. Let's do spirit animal. The vulture spirit. Okay. So vulture spirit can sound a little bit negative. We think of vultures, we think of like these kind of birds that are waiting to, eat like the corpses of other animals and things. It might seem negative when a vulture comes around. And sometimes when we do have negative times, we have, difficult periods of our life, difficult times, it can seem quite negative. It can seem like things are going really wrong, things are really negative, just like the vulture can seem really negative. But actually the lesson of the vulture is to learn that nothing is wasted. So, a vulture eats the corpse of the other passed over animals, and the lesson of the vulture is that nothing is wasted. So even when situations have passed, situations are dead, relationships, jobs, anything, there's a reason for that. No life experience, no life lesson is ever wasted. You have experiences for a reason, and sometimes the lesson, especially if it's been a very difficult time, the lesson isn't always clear right away. I experienced a very difficult time in my early 20s, and I went through a lot of like grieving and very negative period of life. But now when I look back, I don't discount that it was very negative, but I do understand the lessons I had from that. And when we go through a very hard period, it can be difficult to see, and we might feel like things were a waste. We might feel like there's no reason or rhyme for that scenario. There could be no way that there's a reason for that scenario. But when we look back after so many months, weeks, days, or years, it can make sense, and it will make sense eventually. So nothing is wasted. Any lessons, any issues that are going on at the moment are lessons in some way. And sometimes as well, your situation could be more of a lesson for the other person. If there's another person involved, sometimes the lesson's more for them, and sometimes we have to accept a little bit that we are also, a key component in other people's lives, and sometimes it's more of a lesson for them. And unfortunately, we have to be there to, to suffer a little bit. But yes, nothing is wasted, and it will not be wasted eventually. And Disha here, why is S ghosting me? Is he thinking of communicating again with me? How does he feel about me? Okay, a couple of questions there, but I know Disha doesn't come in a lot and hasn't asked many questions, so I will go over them. So let's look at these. Why did S ghost me? Is he thinking of communicating again with me, and how does he feel about me? Okay, so why did he ghost me? Yes, so it does seem like there really was a desire to go in a new direction, to just leave the connection, the emotions, the everything, how it was, and just go in a new direction, kind of having this new. So it's a lot more about turning the attention and the focus to something new, as opposed to really thinking too much about what was being left behind, basically. There's kind of this pivot, this turning of focus, and it's almost like being distracted a little bit, but really being more concerned with over here than what was going on over there, basically. So that's to say, it's not so much about you, but more about this new path and new direction. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Is he thinking of communicating again with me? Okay. Yes, there does seem to be some thinking about it, mostly in the back of the mind, but it does seem like the frequency of thinking about this will increase a little bit, but does seem to be at the back of the mind at the moment. How does he feel about me? Okay. There's quite a lot of positive emotion, actually, and the positive emotion feels to be quite pushed down, so quite suppressed. So it's a suppressing of the positive emotions, which makes sense when there's this, it's more like being distracted and focusing over here, as opposed to actually having a huge issue with you, or really you haven't done anything hugely wrong, or there isn't a huge issue between you. I'm not saying there's no issues, not saying everything's perfect, but there doesn't seem to be like there's a lot of the time when someone wants to ghost you or leave you or kind of move on from you, there's some level of misunderstanding, whether that's from the past, whether they never wanted it to get to a serious stage and now they're just, pushing that away. But it doesn't seem to be that there's a huge thing like that, a huge misunderstanding, a huge issue. It does seem to be more of a just turning the attention to this other area. So the feeling about you is actually, it's not like this huge negative thing's gone wrong and there's negative emotions. It feels much more like the emotions are still positive, but because the focus has changed, there's a pushing down of those emotions to focus on this new thing. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you. And that comes through strongest. So it's not to say that, not discounting if there has been an argument or anything like that, but this seems to be most prominent, most coming up most strongly, basically. So yes, guys, I just need to go to the toilet. Actually, I actually never leave the stream halfway through. But yeah, I think I've drank a little bit too much here. So really sorry, I won't be too long. I'll put the thank you to the members banner thing up, and I will leave the music playing. If you are happy to just wait for a couple of minutes, just while I just run upstairs for a second, I will come right back and I'll be beginning a game with Pooja. I have not forgotten where I'm up to there. So, yes, I won't be too long. Okay, I'm back. Really sorry about that. Nice to see quite a few people still here, so that's good. So Pooja, how is N and A's relationship going? Not great. So there are some issues. It's not really bad. It's not too bad, but there are some issues there coming up. Yeah, I wouldn't call it positive, but I wouldn't exactly say it's a little bit more negative than positive, but not dire. You know, not dire. Is probably what I could say. I will just say, because I do believe we have some newer people towards the bottom of the chat. So I'm quite behind in the chat. I do all questions in order. I am quite behind in the chat. If you are new, just leave your full name and date of birth with your question. And if you're happy to wait, I will get to you. If you're not happy to wait, then that's fine. I'm really sorry. But the readings are free. Let's not forget that the readings are free. I do have super chats. If you want your question answered right away, a super chat will put it to the top. But I'm not going to scroll down to the bottom. So yeah, if you really want a question answered, you can send a super chat. And of course, you know, super chats, super stickers, and super thanks are very greatly appreciated, but they're not necessary. The readings are free. But do subscribe. If you're new, please do subscribe if you are going to stay around and ask a question. Risha, is there someone coming towards me in love? Being single for 20 years. Okay. Yes, and it does look like the more earlier half of next year as well. Mega, hi, hello. Sarah, has Richard got an apprenticeship in January? And if so, is it near mine? Yeah, so it looks like there's a prominent opportunity near you that's going to come up for him. So it's not really clear on if he knows about that right now. Like it's in this current chapter, but it's not. I don't really have indication of if he definitely hasn't started it yet. I can say that, but I don't know how long on the in the process that he is. So it does look like he's still applying for things. It does look like he's applied for quite a few things, but this opportunity coming up here, I'm not really sure if he's got this yet. If he's been to an interview or phone interview or whatever it will be. It doesn't look like, it looks like there's some process that's being done. So something, application, phone call, interview, something, but it doesn't look like he's fully been confirmed to have the position near you yet. But it does look like there's a lot of applications going on. So, praying that he doesn't go for a different one and does, get that one and stick to the one near you. And Mega says, anything I need to know about I'm so sorry that it's so I am really far from the bottom, so I don't like to not answer a question when someone's been waiting so long. But anything I need to know, it can open up a whole reading, so it can be very broad, anything I need to know. She does also ask R's current feelings and next actions, so let me do that one here just whilst the anything I need to know is a little bit broad, because it could give open up like a whole kind of different things about him, what's going on in different areas of the life path and things like that as well, because not everything we need to know is based on their emotions towards us or anything like that. So it can bring up a very kind of broad reading about a specific person. So let me get to R's current feelings and next actions. Let's look at that. Okay, so current feelings are quite positive. This is looking quite good. Because I know I have checked this, not too recently, because I haven't really been doing too many crystal balls recently, but it does feel like it's kind of remaining at a better level. So remember how I was saying it was kind of going on an upward trajectory. Don't really feel like it's gone up anymore, but I also don't feel like it's gone down. So it's positive, it's better than it was, and it's kind of stayed there, so stabilised a little bit. And so current feelings, they are quite positive, Next actions. Okay, so it's still looking to me, I think I got this last time, it's still kind of looking to me like a gradual increase in communication that kind of brings up those more those deeper feelings again. So kind of like an increase in communication that brings out the more deeper emotions that may have been overlooked a little bit, I would say, because there has been some issues on his side, really, in his connection with you and in his like thoughts about that and everything like that. So it's looking a bit more positive, but I wouldn't really say it's increased too much since I last checked. Very kind of similar to I would say the last time I checked. You know, my memory isn't perfect, so I can't be 100% certain, but I know that there was a block, there was a block, and it stayed a block for a couple of checks, and then it increased a little bit, and now it seems to have stayed in that slightly increased level, basically. Jan, a love card, please. There we are. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help to bring you together. So it's just kind of affirmation and confirmation about your soulmate there. And, you know, I know a lot of you do your prayers, visualizations, or affirmations, or all three, you know, whatever it is that you choose to do. Out of those, I know that you do them. But sometimes when we get this message, it can be affirming that this person is the soulmate who you're visualizing, or it can just be affirming that you should continue with those practices, you know. And like I said, these kind of messages do come up sometimes when we're keeping, you know, where we feel like we've been focusing on this for a long time. It's kind of affirmation that you are doing the right things, just keep focusing on it, basically. Very much kind of like that worth waiting for message, where it's kind of like it is coming, you know, soon, but there's some divine timing or some it's just kind of like a affirmation that you can get there and you can get there, and that, to not be too disheartened, basically, and keep up your focuses. Miss Venus, at the moment, when do you see me getting married, and who do you see as my future husband? Okay, so this is interesting. Let's see, most prominent at the moment. Okay, so there is something coming through here, and it's not too surprising because you're kind of in a relationship already, even though you aren't official. You know, you aren't official in the relationship, but you are in a relationship. You're in a connection, so it does make sense that the most prominent one will be, if there's a possibility with this person, it will come up because you're in that connection. If there's a possibility, of course, the current connection will be the most prominent connection. So you are getting a possibility of marriage with Omar, so with your current connection. There is a possibility of this being long term. So I actually think this is interesting because I haven't checked that. I'm almost certain I haven't checked this before, and it's interesting because we had that chaotic energy, that rocky kind of energy going on. I was going to say last year, but it's not 2024 yet. Going on a couple of months ago. So now that we're definitely through that, you know, we're almost next year now. So it's interesting how now it seemed very clear that it was most likely going to be a temporary relationship before that point. So when I was looking, probably in around August, I would say, it did seem like it was quite possible that it would be a temporary relationship, that it probably wouldn't be long term. And now we're seeing that there is a possibility. So you've definitely, I know we've asked if you made it through that energy, that more negative, destructive energy, but it looks like you definitely have made it through that, because there's this possibility here coming up. So yeah, we're looking for year as well. At 2027 is coming up there as well as most prominent there. So it's quite far away, but it is most prominent because you're in that connection now. Benita says, when will my health get better? Okay. Okay, so it looks like there is a upward trajectory in your health around kind of just before the middle of next year. So I'm guessing like the 6th month. Wait, that is exactly the middle, sorry. But I suppose the beginning of the 6th month is before. The 6th month is July, I'm sure. Is it? Or is it June? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's June. So, but the 6th month anyway. So sorry if my my complete brain not working there. But yes, so the middle of the year basically, but the beginning, just before the middle of the year basically, upward trajectory from there. So sorry, my brain didn't work then, but just what I was seeing in the ball. Yeah. Lalima, how do you see the progress of my weight loss and road opener spells? Okay. Okay, so the road opener does look, the road opener is at full energy, so you have the energy of possibility around you. So road openers are very good because they open up, of course they open up possibilities, so but it's not just about possibilities. So it's not just about possibilities in the sense that, you know, different possibilities will kind of make themselves known to you, but also opens up the luck energy. So it's very root chakra based. We have financial luck, job luck, and home setting luck as well in the root chakra. And when we have an increase in luck energy, as well as the road opener itself opening up possibilities, there's also the root chakra luck that comes with it as well, which points more to your luck in applying for things. So not all opportunities will be presented to you. You do sometimes, of course, have to go out, apply, look, make decisions, but there's more luck as well contained in that. So when we have this kind of road opener spell that has this positive energy and this luck in it, yes, some of the opportunities you still have to apply for, of course, but the luck increases. So whereas you may apply for a job where you maybe had 10-20% of getting it because of the other applicants, not saying that you're not, you know, perfect for it, but because of other applicants sometimes our chance decreases because there's so many applicants, let's say, as the example. But when you have this luck energy given, this more luck energy given to you, your chances then increase more as well. So yes, the road opener is at full energy, and now it's just kind of about not just opening more opportunities and more luck, but also aligning you with your highest potential in accordance to your desires. So what do you want? And aligning those, you know, the right opportunities, not just any opportunities, but the right opportunities onto your path. But let's look at weight loss as well. Okay, so that is not at full energy yet. It's not full energy yet. It looks like it may be, so be at full energy around 1 to 2 weeks. So 1 to 2 weeks. Make an always check back on that. In messages with you in Messenger, yes, Facebook Messenger. Excuse me. Sarah, will Richard be okay taking our son to school whilst in hospital? Okay. Okay, it's not an overly positive answer. There is a possibility that he will not be. There is a possibility that he will not be responsible enough to basically to do it without fault, basically to do it without issues, without being late or anything like that. Luna, a unicorn card and a card of your choice. Okay, unicorn. There we go. Oh, I like this one. Imagination. Envision a new reality. Give yourself permission to dream. Believe in unlimited possibilities. So imagination is a really interesting kind of ability that humans have. We have the ability to imagine, and a lot of people discount imagination as a kind of gift, which I really believe that it is and really feel that it is, because without imagination you may be less creative, but also our imagination is contained within our third eye, in the same way that our spiritual abilities are, our psychic abilities and all of that. So when we have different things contained within one chakra, similar to how our sacral, as another example, our sacral chakra has our creativity and our intimate connections in it. So when we have our psychic abilities and our imagination in one chakra, they may seem unrelated. You can imagine things and you can have psychic abilities, they seem different. But actually, when you exercise one chakra, you increase the ability to have the other benefits of that chakra. So when we really get into a creative flow, going back to the sacral, when we really have a creative flow, we may also find that our magnetic energies, our intimate connections also improve. And they seem unrelated, but because they're contained in the same chakra and we are exercising that chakra, it can help on both parts, even though they're seemingly unrelated things. And that is the same with imagination. So, and it makes sense as well when you think about it. When we manifest, we do visualise quite often, and visualising is imagining, so it does make sense. But yes, when you exercise your imagination, you're also helping the third eye to grow and to develop in the other areas as well, without really thinking about it. So I really love imagination, and I love, how people discount it and people say, like, that's just your imagination, when really, imagination's really important to your spiritual journey. So let's also do a animal card, because I'm really loving the animal cards at the moment. Rabbit Spirit, now is a lucky time. So rabbits are lucky, as we know, in old times, people would kind of have like rabbit feet as like a good luck charm, which is really strange and unusual, but they do reflect luck. So if you have the totem animal of the rabbit around you, or if you want it around you, you may want it around you for luck. So, ask the rabbit totem animal to channel luck to you, very lucky animal. Excuse me. Kevin, was it a good decision for me to leave the friend group I made around August to October of last year in college? So in the long run, ultimately, was it a good decision for Kevin to leave that friend group? Yes. So although there does seem to be some connections within there that aren't necessarily negative, and you could have kind of continued on, with no issue there, it does seem ultimately, on the whole, as a whole, yes. Sorry, I missed Risha there. Physical appearance of future spouse. Okay, so very dark hair. Pretty slim, so not overly muscular, not overly, well, not overweight. It's not overweight. Not overly muscular. Quite a slimish build. I'm quite tall. Has glasses as well. And quite clean shaven. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. So I'm just going to say quite a few, well, I say quite a few more people. We've had gone from about 17 people in the chat to 23, I believe. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do like it. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much. And if you are new, I am quite behind in the chat, but when I do get to you, it does really help for me to have your full name and date of birth with your question if you're new. You can also send that in Facebook or email if you don't wish to put it public, but if you are okay with it being in the chat, it's just easier to put it straight away into the chat with your question. Thank you very much. Pooja, is there any chance of an A Mind's Connection reviving in the future? Yes, it does seem to be below 50%, which isn't great. You ideally want a yes, if you want the yes, to be over 50%, because if you think about a pendulum, if the answer is below 50%, the pendulum will say no. When we get that straight yes or no. A crystal ball can give a percentage, so even a very small percentage the crystal ball can give. But a pendulum, if it's under 50%, the pendulum will say no. This is looking like around 45%, so it would, in a pendulum reading, be a no. But yes, there's a possibility, there's opportunity, but it is low. So I'm just going to comment in the chat where I'm up to. Just put checking in because, of course, I know I'm very behind, and I do, like I said, I have to be done at a certain time to help my mother move her furniture for for redecorating. So just putting that there, because sometimes it can be like an hour behind in chat, which I know for you guys is not great, and I really do appreciate the patience, but sometimes it does get to that point. So I want to make sure that I'm not finishing too late, and which I shouldn't be. It's only 20 to 9 at the moment, so we do have just under 2 hours actually. So it's not too bad, but it depends how bad the chat is. Let's see. Oh, Jasmine, hello. Some new people in here I am beginning to see now as I'm getting a bit further down here. So yeah, I do apologise if you're new. Well, I apologise to everyone for the wait, but it does take time. It does take time. Patience is needed for this stream. Sarah, will Richard be okay to look after me and baby when I'm out of hospital? Yes. He would do so much better with you. So with you, it seems like with you, his energy would strengthen, you know, and working together is a good thing. It seems like his kind of downfall, his downfall is kind of like the responsibility and the energy to do things on his own. When he takes that step of, you know, connecting with you, joining with you, being a co-parent with you, you know, things will improve. Jan asked for a Akashic card. I'm so sorry we don't have Akashic today. We'll do a unicorn. Let's do a unicorn, shall we? So we have a unicorn card there. Partnership. Teamwork will give you a better result. Find trustworthy people to partner with. Build up a talented support team. So, yeah, so partnership more along the lines of work and life goals as opposed to relationship partnership. But you can take it and put it to any context, I suppose. Teamwork will give you a better result. So, yeah, it's always good to have company or to have, you know, especially, you know, whether you're doing something creative, logical, even if it is on your love path or, you know, whatever it is, having someone to help can be better, you know, having support, someone to help, sharing, delegating, sharing tasks with is always good. Having support is always good. But do think about that, because is there an area in your life where you need some help with? You know, in a work or education or business or any area, really, creative projects, something like that. Do you need some help, some support, some teamwork? Think about it. Because sometimes we do. We just kind of, sometimes we have things like, you know, a lot of people want to start a business or write a book or something like that, and they kind of go at it alone and go at it just as an individual. Sometimes teamwork and having someone to help is really beneficial. Megha, I'm only scrolling past Megha's question here because I do believe I answered that before. It's ours, current feelings and next actions. I did answer that before, saying that the actions were, the feelings were quite similar, and where they had grown a little bit positive but kind of remained there at a stable level, and then the actions were that, you know, gradual increase of communication and all of that. So Risha, what A's mother really thinks of me? Does she have a hint that I like him? I'm scared. So what does she think of you? Does she have a hint that you like him? No, it comes as no. Sarah, is Richard still attracted to me? Yes. Marie, you're welcome. Oh my gosh. Kevin, is it possible for me to have the ability to read minds? If so, how to enhance it? So, reading minds, I would say in a all-round way of kind of having good intuition with people, reading signs from people, I would say yes. Like fully reading people's minds in a telepathic way is not rarely possible. You could do it if you really practiced and connected with that person and you had like kind of trust with that person. But in the current kind of individual kind of, separated kind of individuals that we are, where we're not really like mind reading and telepathy are very similar, because reading someone's mind is like fully reading someone's mind. I don't mean like you can have mind reading abilities in an intuitive way, in a getting the theme of the idea of what's on their mind, but reading someone's mind in a full-on word for word what they're thinking, image for image what they're thinking way isn't possible. That's what I mean, just because our telepathic communication isn't tuned in enough yet. You can, if you really practice it one-on-one with someone or in a group even, you can do it. But in terms of mind reading people who you're not practicing with, who are kind of separate from you and not focusing on it with you, it is possible, but like I said, not word for word and not image for image. You can get like an idea of what they're thinking. You can you can pick up on, you can enhance your intuition to pick up on it more, and you can pick up signs in the eyes, in the body language, and by using those signs with the intuition as well together, you can get quite close, but not. People do have private thoughts, and it's kind of where we're at in the evolution of humanity at the moment. It's kind of a security kind of thing, I suppose, for people, because we are individual. We can't completely, is what I'm saying. But yeah, you can definitely practice it. You can definitely enhance it to a point where you're pretty good at it, definitely. So, but never to the point where you would be perfect spot on with every person. And some people it's easier than other people. Some people it is a lot easier as well. You get some people who are very, very good at having their guards up, and you may not even get it close right with them. But yes, you definitely can practice to enhance it, definitely. So I'll get now, so that's obviously me talking broadly about mind reading. I will look now at your individual possibility with it, and your percentage, maybe something like that. Yes, so actually here we're seeing like around 65% for you. So it definitely is something that you can tune into. And that's 65% at the moment. So I don't know how much you practiced, but yeah, it's definitely something you can tune into. But do bear in mind that but the more you practice it as well, the more you probably will recognise who is really closed off, who has guards up, and who you probably won't tap into. Because you'll get better as well intuitively at knowing that as well. And you can get really close with a lot of people. So how to enhance it? Definitely practice, definitely intuitive practices. So all spiritual practices at the moment where we're currently at require a lot of intuition and trust in intuition, which people don't seem to realise, yeah, so even things like mind reading or something like that might not seem like you really need too much intuition with. It might seem like just a skill you can enhance without having that. you really do need it. So any intuitive practice you can do, I would do, and focus on more third eye and crown as well, and you're picking up on people's external energies as well. So any kind of energy, picking up on any kind of energies that you can, I suppose, would help. But yes, intuitive practices. I can't really express how important they are for so many abilities, really, at this stage, because while we're not really progressing yet into on a wide scale into a telepathic society, we really need intuition to even begin to have abilities like that. Miss Venus, will Omar start being more expressive about his feelings, or is he not like that in general? Okay. Yeah, so it does seem like in general he's not too like that. He's not like overly affectionate or anything like that, overly expressive. But yes, there will be an increase to a level. You know, there will be an increase. But in general, he's not overly like that. But can be more. So more like that than he is, yes, but he's not overly like that, if that makes sense. Some people are very emotionally expressive. But some people just aren't, and that is true. Lilina, would it be the right decision to presently refuse all offers I'm getting in India in order to go abroad next year? Okay. Would it be the right decision to presently refuse all offers I'm getting in India in order to go abroad next year? No, it seems like there are very good opportunities at the moment. So it seems more kind of leaning to that. But don't forget, like I know, like some of you, I see like a lot of opportunities with, and some people I see, you know, when I see less opportunities with someone, and that's not to say that they're any not as good or anything like that, but for some of us. Like, for example, me at the moment, I'm definitely going to stay where I am for quite a while, you know, for, at least another year or two. So for me, I would have much less opportunity than Lilima has at the moment. But like I know I keep saying, but in Lilima, I do see a lot of opportunities. So it's a bit more difficult to say the exact right decision because there are a few prominent decisions for you. But it does seem like taking an opportunity in India at the moment is a bit more beneficial than waiting, basically. But it may come to the point where you need to pivot and switch next year. But at the moment, these current opportunities are looking better, yes. Sarah? Yes, these opportunities in India are looking better at the moment, just in case I didn't affirm that enough. Sarah, does he speak about baby or me much? Yes. So it seems like there isn't too much communication in general. So there's some communication with friends, some communication with family. It's not like he's constantly talking all the time. So when you put it in comparison with the rest of his communication, yes, there hasn't been too much, but there also hasn't been too much, talking in general. Like he's not, like I said, overly communicating, expressing loads of, having loads of communications with loads of different people, basically. So in comparison, percentage-wise, yes, he's talking a little bit about you, a little bit about the baby. Or more than a little bit, should I say. Really bad at explaining myself. Odisha says, but I do think this is the question I looked at before, but I will double check. Yes, it is. Okay, I hope you got it. think she did, but I'll just double check. Jan, what does Caden want to talk about the night of the 12th? He felt more like he was decided, so he felt more like he was decided, so he wanted to instigate being more forefront, being more upfront with what was going on in his mind and the decision he was making. So yeah, he wanted to be more forefront about that. Megha, when will things move forward and get better for me and R? It's difficult to get an exact time on it at the moment, because even though it does look now like it's increasing more, there's still not too much of an increase, too much of a path. It's like I said, it's like it moves up a little bit, then it stays stable for a while, then it moves up a little bit. At the moment, it seems stable at this current kind of level, where he is thinking about you a bit more, having more positive energy about you, but you know, it's not fully clear when that will go up or if it will go down. There's not too much energy, too much of a set path or a set indication at the moment. I would like to think that it will continue to go up and up and up, but it's not looking very clearly like that at the moment. It's like it could, it's like 50-50, like it could go either way, if that makes sense. So I can't give a specific date on it or a specific time on it, because it's looking like it could go either way. It's not completely set on the path. Just bear with me 1 second. Didn't click it. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we have Benita. What does my future spouse look like? Black hair. So I'm seeing black hair. Hazel eyes? Looking like hazel eyes. So quite a kind of grown beard, you know, like not super long, but not really close shaven, basically. A bit more of a beard than stubble. And there's some grey. So there's some grey in the hair, a little bit of grey in the beard as well. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing at the moment. Sometimes I try to get like build, height. No, I'm not sure. I'm not overly tall though. But yeah, I can't really place it. Yeah, okay, so what I'm seeing is black hair, a beard, grey in the beard and grey in the hair, and the eye colour, so like a hazily kind of eye colour. Miss Venus, what are Omar's feelings for me at the moment? Is he falling in love or just deep care? Yeah, it's definitely deeper than care. It's definitely it's definitely getting to a point where there's more than just care there. There's definitely like love feelings. Sarah says, when will his friends bring his fish tank and his things here? Okay, so this should be interesting because I remember seeing that this would happen in the past and it did not happen. So let's see if there's any kind of alignment of this, any redirection of this kind of event. No, I'm not seeing, like, it does seem like it's something that will happen, but I'm not seeing like a set time on it. I think that for Richard at the moment, things do seem to be stabilizing a bit more for him. So the energy doesn't look as chaotic as it did, or as low as it did, but I still feel that things need to kind of stabilize a little bit more. Ideally, stabilize in his mood, in that chaotic energy, would ideally stabilize a little bit more. Then I think the set times and dates of things will be more clear, because with him being up in the air as well, and what I really want and what I'm really willing to happen for him and for the everything with you guys, is for him to get things moving within the next few weeks, because I'm still seeing that this so things were really chaotic when he was going through his mental health issues, and what I'm seeing and what I have seen is that although he's stabilising a bit now, there's a chaotic time coming around December time, around the Christmas time, and so I really want some things to be in place with you guys before that time, because I don't know how much that could shake things up again, and that's what I'm really seeing, what's really coming through. And sorry, I just heard like a noise outside. So I think that if that doesn't happen and things do completely stabilise before then, which would be great, but we'll have to keep a check on that. I think that because of that chaotic energy in that December time, we can't be 100% on timings of things, because there's a possibility for more movement and more affirmation, more confirmation of things with you guys in the first 2 weeks of December, which I really feel needs to happen because of that chaotic energy. But I think that because there are a few possibilities on the path, things aren't set in stone, especially not with his energies the way they are, it's difficult for some things to have pinpointed time frames, like moving things in that maybe aren't too important. Of course, his things were important, but his fish tanks specifically aren't too important. He needs himself, he needs maybe some clothes and things. I think that's most important and most pressing. Kevin, can I have a shadow card if it's available? Yes. I don't know if I thought I pulled one. Mustn't have been for Kevin. There we are. Discontentment. Something doesn't feel right, but identifying what's missing eludes you. Re-examine the situation from a distance, and missing pieces will become obvious. So it's very much about when we really feel like something's off. Sometimes we can be too up close to our own lives to realise what's off. I'm just going to give an example. This isn't the case for Kevin, but just an example could be like a kind of you know, when you're in a relationship with someone who's like narcissistic or a gaslighter or a bit something like that, like a negative kind of person, sometimes you only see them for the image that you created of them, and when you're up close with them, you don't realise the extent of their manipulations and things like that. That's just an example, but when we take a step back, and I always say, think about, in a relationship specifically, I say step back and think about if your friend was in that relationship. If that person was just with your friend, what advice would you give the friend? Now, I know the relationship's just a example, but you can do this in other areas of your life. So if you look at your own life, but as if you're looking at someone else's life, what advice might you give that person? What advice might you say if you came to yourself and said, you know, I'm not feeling fulfilled? What advice might you give yourself to be more fulfilled? So taking a step back, looking at your life like it's not your own life, and seeing where you might kind of, what advice you might give if it wasn't you. Risha, do you see me doing masters in chemistry in Jammu University or in another city? Okay. In another city looks most likely. Lalima, do you see me getting a love or an arranged marriage? Love. Jan, why didn't Caden go through with the talk on the top? Hesitation and doubt that he's kind of built up around himself for so long. Lise, I don't know, Lise Sherbet, I'm really sorry that I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce your name. Oh yes, Lise, because it's Lisa. Okay, I understand, sorry. Lisa, hello and welcome if you're still here. Really sorry for the time. It does take a long time to get to people, but thank you very much for putting your full name and date of birth in your question. So Lisa asks, what are Nate's feelings and thoughts towards me? Okay, so there's attraction and there's positive. There's positive thoughts. They're kind of like, I always try to give the like range between positive, neutral, negative, neutral and positive. And it's kind of somewhere in the region of between neutral and positive. So sometimes this is because we've had issues in the past, we've had arguments and we're kind of building back up on that. Sometimes it's just because we're new to each other, or we're, you know, we've been friends and we're, you know, so sometimes there's things like, there's growing from something, growing past something like that, but it does feel to be between neutral and positive. But there is attraction. So there's attraction, there's feelings that are, you know, not just a friendship kind of feelings, basically. But yes, it does mostly feel to be positive, but and it does feel to be some reason why the energy is on the lower side. Of it's positive, it's not negative, but it's on the slightly lower side, almost like a bit of a dampening of the emotion, which isn't too bad if it's newly coming in. It doesn't feel like it's really new though, but I'm just expressing that because of course it's the first time I've connected with you. Don't want to Want to put everything out, how, you know, everything how it could be, lay it all like kind of out there. But it doesn't feel like it's a really new connection, but I'm just explaining how that energy can come about. But yes, it's mostly positive. It's mostly positive, and there is attraction as well. There's definitely emotions that aren't just of a friendship, basically. Sarah, do you see me being okay in labour and after with being on blood thinners? Yes. Oh, almost skipped Lalima there. Lalima, why did Nicola lie to me about being in a movie hall yesterday? Trying to understand his intentions. Okay. Okay, so it seems like just kind of trying to minimise interaction a little bit, and kind of trying to, there's almost like an avoidance, kind of trying to minimise interaction and avoid a little bit. So yeah, that's what's coming up. Megha, when will I get a job? So most prominent is looking like February, March time. Yashni, hello. Just oh, message redacted there. Yes, Yashni, that's right. A's feelings for me, okay. Okay, so there doesn't actually feel to be too much energy here. It feels to be quite a little bit kind of positive but passive is what I kind of refer to this kind of energy. It's almost like, it's not like there's anything too negative there, but there almost isn't too much of a kind of thought put into it. So it seems very, yeah, it's not negative, but it's definitely kind of passive. Not a lot of thought put into it. Not a lot of thought put into it. But yeah, there's nothing that's really standing out as being negative there. Kevin, should I start getting closer to A's friend group in my class? How will it be? Okay, so it seems like I'm really being kind of directed to one specific person here. So there's one specific person in this friend group who you will rarely resonate and rarely get on with. So I do feel like you've had some interaction with this person before. I don't feel like you've like never spoken to this person ever, but it does seem like it's very kind of surface level, probably you haven't had like really in-depth conversations before. It seems like you will really get on, and this is someone who's quite close to A as well. So yeah, overall it doesn't look like it's negative, you know. And yeah, I mean, what you really should do is be friends with the people you really resonate with. So not necessarily someone's friend group or someone else's friend group, but people who you really resonate with yourself. And there is one person here that it does seem you will really resonate with. So Jasmine says, I know last time you said Phil is taking his time to make sure he makes the right decisions. Is our connection closed now, or will there be something coming for us? Okay. Okay. So it still looks like there's a possible opportunity with you two. So I'm going to like gauge a percentage of this, because I do recall that, but I'm really struggling to feel whether this feels like it's closing more, like this is a less prominent, or like this is the same. So I'm not 100% myself here, so I'm just going to get a percentage on it to give you that. So perhaps maybe if I gave a percentage last time, you might know if it's a little bit less or not, because I'm not 100% with how this feels. Okay, so the prominence of the kind of openness, the prominence of this opportunity with you moving forward, it's looking like around 45%. So yeah, I'm really struggling to. A lot of the time I kind of feel like I remember quite easily, how it felt last time, but I'm just not getting that with this. So 45% is what I'm feeling here. Jan, what are Caden's intentions towards me? I think I answered that one earlier. Risha, where do you see me being happy? Where do you see me being happy? Being a professor in College of Chemistry or an industry job? Okay. It looks like both of those opportunities are quite prominent possibilities, but I do lean with this energy and how these are looking a little bit more to industry, a little bit more. They both seem quite positive though. People asking thoughts and feelings. I think, are you guys repeating it because it took me ages to get to you? Because Sarah also says Richard's thoughts and feelings. I'm really sure I answered these before. So with Caden, I'm sure it came up as there was still this thinking about this. Because of course he's almost gone to make this decision, and it feels like he's pulled back on fully getting straight on that decision and fully making it and putting kind of his foot down in a way, and it feels like he's retracted a little bit back to that hesitation stage, so thinking about it more, considering, contemplating. And with Sarah, I'm so sure, like, I don't know if these just came through while I was looking at other answers, but I'm almost certain the thoughts and feelings were that you might have asked a more specific question. That he's still. Yes, you asked if he was still attracted to you, and that came as yes. So thoughts and feelings. I did get that. I got that attraction, but and I still feel love. Answering the questions between you, I still feel love. So yeah, I can confidently say that has come through. But yes, you did ask a different question. Lalima, do you see Nikhil dealing with any women romantically or physically currently? Okay. No. There's a little bit of indication of this being flirting, but nothing that's come of it, nothing physical or romantic, in a sense of going further beyond a flirting conversation. Yashni says, what are keys? I just say, when I can't pronounce a name, I don't like to just, make, pronounce it wrong and sound really disrespectful. I really like to try. If I do pronounce your name wrong, please do let me know. I do feel like it's a little bit disrespectful to pronounce names wrong. I do try my best to pronounce names right. But anyway, Yajni, what are K's, I will just say, intentions when he messaged me out of the blue? Okay, so this is the kind of energy where I would say it's testing the waters. So there's increased thinking about you, increased kind of missing you, thinking about you and things like that. And there's a desire to see how things will be, see how, I will just message and see how things feel. So there's some intention there and some or potential intention to want to pick things back up, but there's also it's seeing how things go, so it's very kind of just message and see, but there is some underlying possibility of having that intention of trying to pick things back up there. I'm just going to the music, I don't know if it sounds louder to you guys, but it sounds like it's getting a bit crazy to me. Just going to turn it to a bit more of a relaxed one. So thank you to the members again. I just put that up now whenever I'm I don't want to be seen. There you go. So where are we up to now? Miss Venus, does Omar see himself moving to the US with me if things become serious for us, or was he expecting me to move to Mexico with him? Okay. Yes, so how he sees it and how he contemplates it is much more about you, him moving to the US, sorry. Yes, him moving to the US. Jan, what has Caden said about me to others, if he said anything recently? Okay. No, there's nothing coming up particularly about recently. Lilima, I feel I have a higher purpose which I'm yet to discover. Have higher purpose which I'm yet to discover. I would tend to agree, especially because I feel like there's so much potential and so much possibility open to you and available to you. I do feel like you probably don't really understand your full potential yet, and I feel like there's going to be a kind of coinciding with your kind of life mission and your life path, like your work path, your kind of physical kind of life path, and your life mission, so what you were really kind of brought here to do or came here to do, so yeah, I definitely do agree that you have a higher purpose that you're yet to discover. Yeah, let's see, it's quite a open broad one, and sometimes when we get these it takes a lot of time for me sometimes to get a specific, like one specific job, or oh gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, I'm so sorry if it was loud. Oh gosh. Yeah, so when there are so many possibilities, like there are different courses you could take, skills you could hone in on, new skills you could uncover, even abilities, like spiritual abilities that you could uncover or hone in on as well. So when there's so many different things, trying to get one thing to come out of the ball when there's so many opportunities available. I know I do always say it, but there isn't always just one thing that comes right through. There can be so many possibilities available to you, and when I do a full reading, I will kind of sit there and I'll be like, I do still like to have quite specific questions, so it's more along the lines of what you're looking for, but sometimes I can be like, is it to do with this? Is it creative? Is it logical? Will there be a new course involved? Would there be, is it spirit? Might there be something spiritual, intuition based? So I would ask so many questions trying to get to the answer of it. So I don't like to not answer a question, but it's quite difficult when there's so many things that it could be. Like I said, it could be a new skill that you have to get that's quite on the logical side of things, like IT, or something you would do like a traditional kind of education for. It could be more of a creative thing that you could go away and learn in your own space, in your own time, and it could, again, like I said, be spiritual. So there are so many things. What do you feel? What do you feel drawn to? Because I'd be happy to pick out of a few different ones and put them to the ball and see what it says. But there are so many opportunities available to all of us, Sarah, will he get used to medication soon and stop being so sleepy? Yes, this is a good question. Yeah, so it feels more like around January time, which could again be because of this disruptive kind of energy around the end of December. But yes, I'm getting more like it will be January time that happens. So hopefully that's fully stabilising out, because it does seem like I won't lie, it does seem like he is stabling more now, even so now. But what I'm kind of, forecasting that end of December chaotic energy and kind of trying to allow for that, because even though he's kind of stabilising up a bit now as we go, when that disruptive energy comes, it could throw him off again, and then he will need to get back to even this stage, which isn't perfect yet right now. So yeah, I mean, ideally, it would be totally smooth sailing even throughout that time, and I'm sure that that's possible, but it just seems not greatly likely that he won't have any kind of issue in December. Just checking my Facebook a second because I'm gonna a message come through. Oh yes, so I'm just going to do this question that came through a while ago on Facebook. Okay. One more from the Facebook chat, sorry. Okay. So up to Benita now. When will Groupreet G, I'll just say, contact me? So Benita, when will G contact me? Okay, it's looking a little bit hazy. It doesn't look like there's a really big potential of contact soon. So I'm really sorry to say that. I don't like to give the answers that you guys don't want. I don't like to give that news, but I can't lie. Say what I see in the ball. So Risha, how H really sees me. I feel like I'm out of his league. Is that right? Or if I approach a friendship, can it happen? It doesn't really look overly possible. It just doesn't really look like there's a much of a compatibility. Doesn't really look like there's a lot of interest on his side. I definitely wouldn't say that you're out of his league. I would never say that. But I do feel like on his side, there's just not too much interest there. And in general, between both of you, I don't feel like there's much compatibility as well. So it's not anyone being out of anyone's league at all. You should never think that way about yourself at all. But it's just the case of compatibility and interest of the other person as well. So I literally just seen Shweta saying hello. I know, I messaged you on Facebook. Oh no, I didn't message you on Facebook. I must have spoken it, but from your Facebook comment. So very nice to see you in the chat. Jan, is there a message for what I should do at this time for Kazan? Like, should I still maintain a boundary and not message him? Okay, I'll ask that. So, should I still maintain a boundary and not message him? Okay, so giving him space is still good at this moment in time, but I wouldn't say so. There's no need for no messages at all, but just few and far between messages. So not a lot of messages, maybe just like hey, you know, kind of no long messages, no like putting pressure on or a lot of messages. But every now and then, if you want to check in or see if he's ready, that's okay. Just a small message. But yes, giving a bit of space still at this stage. At this stage when he's pulled back again, I would say yes. Yes. Sarah, do you see anyone being at labour to help me? Yes. Kevin, Does A want me to get along with his classmate friends so that it connects us as well? Okay, so it doesn't seem like he has any kind of aversion to that idea, but it doesn't seem like he's really given the dynamic of you having like the same friend group or anything like that too much thought. The most thought surrounding you, Riley, that seems to come up at the moment is that kind of knowing that there's an attraction there, and kind of questioning a little bit, and questioning himself, questioning what that is, more so thinking more about you and his connection than the dynamic of like a friend group. What I would also say though, let's keep a check on the dream, because I always think that people who come to me, people who join in this community, are very intuitive. So I definitely would like to see if that comes up again, if that happens. Really nice to see people saying hi to each other and everything in the chat. It's really nice. I really like to see it. Wow, I'm still so far away from the message I put in the chat. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe how long that is. I have less than an hour now, so going to try my best. So I was up to Lalima, do you see any bond or cord or past life connection between me and Nicole which needs to be healed? No. Salem, hello. I'm not sure about that question. Yes, really sorry if anyone did not hear or read about leaving their full name and date of birth with their question. I'm probably not going to get past my comments in the chat now. So just to let you know, if you commented after my comments in the chat, you may not have your question answered today, because it will have been 4 hours probably by the time I get there. But I do this throughout December. There'll be at least one of these a week. So if you would like to join in the future ones, if you'd like to, come back weekly or whenever you can, and have questions answered, there will be at least one a week in December, just to let you know. So if you have not liked the video already, please do give it a like. I'm really happy to see we have 25 likes. If you're new, please subscribe as well, because yes, in December we will have we'll be back to one a week with crystal balls. I'm going to try to keep that up, one a week. So just think where I'm up to here. Sarah, does anyone come to see the baby when he's born? Yes. Kevin, I started to go on a dating app recently called Boo. Do you see anything happening through this app for me in love? Yes. So it seems actually like it will be a bit slow. It does seem like, so I'm guessing like around maybe 2 I would say around 2, maybe a little bit over 2 months, until you kind of connect with someone who is, or meet someone who is, you know, like kind of worth your time in a way, not like a waste of time. So it does seem like it starts a little bit slow, but yes. And that doesn't mean that you can't meet someone, or that you won't meet someone, you know, or interact with people before that time, by the way, but someone who is kind of like I said, worth your time, who you may have like a long lasting potential with, basically. Risha, how the finance of future spouse is going to be. Yeah, so better than average, not like overly like rich or anything crazy, but better than average, yes. Sarah, how does Richard feel about me having to inject through pregnancy? This might have caused low mood over the weekend. How does Richard feel about me having to inject through pregnancy? I ripped my blanket. Sorry. So he kind of sees it just as something that has to be done. So there's not too much like a like, I'm not saying that he disregards it, really, but he not, you know, not like a throwaway kind of thing, like he disregards it, but he just kind of sees it as something that needs to be done. So there's not really a great like distress to him over it, if that makes sense. Miss Venus, what was my twin flame Oscar's reaction to my recent Mexico trip pictures? So, what was Oscar's reaction to the Mexico trip pictures? Okay, so there's a jealous energy coming up here. A jealous energy. Yeah, there's a jealous energy, kind of like a missing out kind of energy coming up there. Hi Sherry, hello. Sorry. I feel like I need to like properly cough, but I can't, so I'm just like yeah. Throat just getting a bit dry. It's been a while. I think it's been a while since I did a stream this long. How long has it been? Oh, it's only been 3 hours. Okay, so not too bad. Actually, not too bad. Okay, so oh. Pooja, why Anne was afraid to have a committed relationship with me since he told me he had feelings for me. Okay. Yeah, so there definitely was feelings for you, but there's also kind of a I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, maybe there's some fear, but it feels also like not being 100% certain. You know, not being really. I think that sometimes relationships take building on. You know, we're not 100% certain. We have to kind of go with that. Like, take a leap of faith in a sense. They're not always like we're automatically straight away in love, you know. And sometimes you kind of like take a chance and you kind of go along a little bit, and then eventually you do realise that, you know, this is actually great, and I'm glad that I kind of took the leap of faith with it. And I feel like it was kind of like that for him, where he probably could have, yeah, you know, he could have taken a bit of a leap of faith and then realised that it would have been better than he was thinking that it would be, if that makes sense. It's almost like not being not feeling exactly perfect, so him kind of being hesitant and maybe making the wrong decision, or, you know, it might feel like the wrong decision. Sarah, how does Richard feel about our son finally being diagnosed autistic? Yeah, there does seem to be a bit of relief there. Miss Venus, how does Omar feel about the we the holiday we took together, I would assume, and how we got along? Did his feelings grow? Okay, so how did he feel in that time that you spent together? How you got along, and did his feelings grow? Yeah, so it seems like he already did feel connected. He already did feel connected. He did feel, you know, positive. It's not necessarily that he didn't, but I would definitely say the feelings grew, and that he become a little bit more affirmed in his feelings. Jan, I will check. Send me a message, and I will check on this spell energy for you. So, the 13th, it's not going to be too noticeable yet, even so. But I do. Oh, wait. When is the love spell? Because I was going to say, check it before our love spell here, but actually, our love spell's like. Oh, okay. Our love spell's the 28th. Okay. Yes, Jan, send me a message, and I think I will check that. I like to give spells a bit of time. So 13th. So ideally would only really check it the beginning of next month, but I do want to check it before all of spell. So yes, send me a message about that. Sadia, when me and my Scorpio released from third party situations. When will me and my Scorpio be released from third party situations? Okay. Mid to the end of January, it looks like, most prominently like. It's not to say there isn't possibility before then, but the most prominent moment of it being fully released, with no kind of backtracking or anything like that, looks like middle January. Sherry, do you see me meeting my life partner soon? I'm so sorry if that was loud. I'm so sorry. Bear with me 1 second. Oh no, we have like less than. Well, we have about 40 minutes now. 40 minutes left. Sorry. Sherry, do you see me meeting my life partner soon? Okay. February looks most prominent. Lolima, What were the real feelings of Nicole saying sweet things on my birthday? Did he mean it? Okay. Did he mean it? Yes. Jan, what's the prominence percentage wise that Kaysen decides to reconcile and be in a relationship with me? Okay. So it's around 70%. Kevin, earlier this month I saw A talking to his friends whom I don't know, and they tried to look at me as if A was talking about me. What was A talking about? It was a day later, a day after your singing. They tried to look at you as if A was talking about you. Okay. See if I can pick up on this. No, I'm not picking up on a specific conversation from like between A and his friends about you or about your singing. No, it's not coming through, and it's interesting because a lot of the time when I kind of pick up on A, it feels more like his kind of thought processes, his energy around you and towards you is really private, to himself. So I don't know. I can't say for definite that he didn't say anything, but doesn't seem to be coming through of like any recent conversation with the friends about you or about your singing. Not really getting anything come through. No, I'm sorry. NNO Salem. I'm really sorry. I don't see you putting your. Oh, there we. Oh, yes. You put your full name and date of birth. There was an earlier question where I didn't answer because I didn't see your full name and date of birth, but I see it now. So let's answer this now. So am I destined to be a musician? Let's focus on this person's energy. Am I destined to be a musician? Okay, so music is definitely supposed to be a huge part of your path. Yeah, so there are opportunities, there are possibilities, with it not being like your full-time thing, but it's definitely supposed to be a huge part of your path. It's definitely like a huge part of your purpose, music. So yes. Sarah, is Richard taking Deontay to his mum's on Xmas and I'll be on my own? No. Lalima, any spell or healing which you feel would be the best for me currently? Okay. So I will check that with you, Lalima. I will message you off stream to check that. Because I would like to fully look at like everything, fully, cleanses, fully, like, all the things that we have spoken about and that we have done. So I'm just going to send you a message here. Checking for possible beneficial spell work. Because I would like to take a bit of time checking, like, especially when things are about like spell work, energies, everything like that. When there's, I know that there's been a few things going on. I just take a little bit of time with it. Sarah, in the past 3 weeks, has Richard spoken to his friend about moving in? It seems like a bit over 3 weeks ago there has been a small conversation about his kind of, I suppose, not making any steps about, so the friend kind of like asking him about what he was doing, about, like, because he has mentioned it before, so this friend does seem to have, inquired a little bit into it, and he's kind of just said something along the lines of not really taking any action on it, not really, very small conversation. Lalima, when do you see my exam preparation for Dubai picking up, as it's been just way too delayed? Okay. February. Jasmine, I have a hard time deciphering what messages are coming from what spirits. I reached out to my Lyran spirit guide yesterday. Was it a successful contact? This is interesting. Okay, so Jasmine reached out to her Lyran spirit yesterday. Was it a successful contact? Okay. Yes, okay. So it definitely seems like you've put the energy out there. It definitely seems like you've put the energy, you've put the intention at least to communicate out there with your Lyran guide. And it does seem like they have understood that. And they are like willing to, open to, and there to connect closer and to build on that connection. Yes. Sarah, when will me and Richard be intimate again? Okay. Most likely is looking like January, but it does seem like there is some possibility in December, a smaller possibility in December. Just stretching my legs, trying not to kick the table. Racer, again, okay. Okay, we have 20 minutes, so hoping that we can manage this to get through this. Excuse me. So, in which year do you see me marrying my current boyfriend? Okay. in 4 years' time. Do you see me having kids with my current boyfriend, and how many? Yes, and 2. Yes, and 2. Kevin, what can I expect my connection with A being like in December? Any changes coming? Yeah, it does seem like there's potential of softening of this connection in December. It does seem like there's potential of coming a bit closer, having more communication, having a bit more communication coming up. Nothing too intense, but a kind of, a bit more of a closening. See how far we are now because my mum was messaging me. Oh gosh. Okay, don't think we're going to get all of the way through. Let me see. So I have to kind of prioritize these now, I think. Oh yes. Just so far to go. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, really sorry, but like I said earlier, if you were in earlier, I do have to go and help my mum move some furniture. Soon, in about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if you're new in or you barely come in, then I am going to get to your questions. And if you're a member, I'm going to get to your questions. So I'm going to prioritise now members and people who either haven't asked anything, for a while. So if you're quite new or you're a member, I will try my best to get to your question. But it just doesn't look like I can get through all of these in 20 minutes, unfortunately. I would love to, and I'm so sorry. But I am definitely going to do Crystal Ball a week in December, and also, of course, a members only Crystal Ball as well. So, so I hope that no one is too, concerned or upset over it. Usually I would at least get to where I've put in the chat, and I wouldn't usually prioritise people in a normal stream like this. But because I have to help my mother with her furniture, I will just have to try my best to get through these. So let's see where we are. Okay, so I did that. Oh, I scrolled too far up now. Okay. So yeah, I'm really sorry, and I do hope to see you soon. For anyone who wants to jump out now. But if you haven't had a question answered yet in this stream, or if you remember, it's very likely I will get to your question before my message. Anything after my message, I'm really not going to get to now, and I really do apologise. But I will be doing it weekly, so try not to worry too much. Okay, so just bear with me. I have to reply to her as well. Meg Hannah. If I asked SW out, will he say yes? Even though he is in talking stages with other girls, he's been giving me mixed signals. Okay, so will he say yes if you ask him out? Okay, Meg Hannah, we'll do this now. No. So that's not to say that to no entirely forever, but at this current moment, at this current stage, no. I'm really sorry to say that. Shayna, hello. Hope you're still here. Really sorry. So Keenan's current thoughts about me. Keenan's current thoughts about me. Okay. Okay, so there is still some love there. There's still some love there. There is care. There's also a bit of a disregard for those other emotions. So sometimes I say like a suppression of emotion. It doesn't really feel like that. It feels almost like a knowing those feelings are there, but kind of trying to just move past them, trying to kind of push them away. So I suppose, yeah, in a way, it's like suppression of emotions. But it's I would say it's more so like as opposed to like pushing them down. It's kind of like really past it, really not bothered. You know, kind of like almost feeling a bit defeated about them. So there's still a love feeling, there's still care feeling, but there's also almost a feeling a bit defeated about it. So I feel it's a bit different than just suppressing the emotions. It's kind of feeling a bit defeated about that connection. So yeah, that was for Shayna. And then Shayna also says, when will things improve for me financially? Okay. Okay, looks like there's two possibilities here. So there's a possibility that's quite small in January, and then there's a higher prominence possibility in March, the end of March. Lulima says a shadow card, so shadow card here. So we have disapproval. Showing your dissatisfaction will not earn you any brownie points, and this may be a battle not worth fighting. There is nothing to be gained but wasted energy. Okay, so if you're feeling particularly disapproving of a situation, sometimes we get very wrapped up in our negative emotion, and we feel like, it's kind of like those people who leave negative reviews, unless it's a situation where people really should hear about it because it's like bad hygiene or something, like in a restaurant, for my review example, like a restaurant, if you saw a rat or something, then yeah, of course you probably do want to give a negative review. But if you're just kind of expressing your anger about a specific person or about you having a bad day, then it might not be worth it. So it's just kind of about, if you feel dissatisfaction or disapproving of anything, it may be worth just moving straight past it and not focusing too much. Sometimes we focus too much on our negative experiences. So like those people who love to give bad reviews, they love to focus on their negative experience, whereas really, just don't go back there, just move past it, So if you're having a lot of disapproval kind of energy, just see if you can move past that and, go to the positive energy. Sometimes we do have to sit in our negative emotions and not completely discounting that, but sometimes it's okay to just move into the more positive side of life. Jan says, so Caden's trying to make a comeback involves me too then, because he was happiest with his life. With me? Oh yeah, so the comeback. So let's see. Was that in the period of life when you were there? Yes. Jasmine, I would like a love card. Okay. I know it's a bit see-through, but healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So the example on the card is your love life benefiting when you forgive your parents. But the healing family issues, it can sometimes relate to the partner or the POI or the soulmate as well. So why aren't you in your exact positive, your most positive area of your relationship at the moment, of that connection at the moment? And it could be that you are healing some family issues, but could also be that they are as well. So sometimes it's not about you, sometimes it's just that they are working through something, they're healing a little bit, beneath the surface. So something to do with family issues, something to do with the family, the parents, and not necessarily the parents, the family, the greater family. It can be any family connection, but healing that family connection to help with the connection. So is it you? Is it is it the soulmate? But either way, there's some healing still to do a little bit before things are fully, connected together. And hi, Watch Geeks. I don't know if you're still here, but thank you a lot. Shayna, will I successfully complete my analytics program? Okay. Yes. Watch Geeks, could you check in if POI is missing me and when she may contact? Also, an advice card of your choice, please. Okay. If POI is missing me and when she may contact. Yes. Yes, the missing you still feels the same. Contact. Okay, so around a 3 week is the time frame that I'm getting at the moment. Around the 3 week mark is like a prominent possibility of the 3 week mark from here. So, an advice card of my choice. So I have. Oh no, you know what I will do? Let's do the spirit animal. Chameleon spirit, okay. Act as if, okay. So the chameleon spirit, it is very much about blending into kind of the background you want to be in front of, So it's very much staying in that high energy. It's very much being, being that kind of person that you want to be. So whatever you want to be, it's like I say, if we want to using the example of, a spiritual person who wants to meet another spiritual person. If it's just an example, but, if you want to get in a relationship with someone who's also spiritual, then of course, the best place to do that would be to go to spiritual events, to, go to places where you will meet spiritual people. So it's very much like if you want to be with someone who is into live music, then you might have to go to live music events. So it's very much about being that kind of person, that the person you want to be with would be with, if that makes sense. But not, of course, it's not a love card. It's not, that's just my example I'm using as the relationship. But being that kind of person that you want to be as well. So if you have, a goal of, it's like the same kind of thing. If you want to be in shape, then you might have to eat right, you might have to go to the gym. So it's very much about acting as that kind of person who is the person you want to be. So it's all just about putting those physical actions in place of acting like the person that you want to be, and acting like the person that would get the things that you want. So, the chameleon. And the chameleon's very much as well about kind of blending in to fit those around you as well. And not in a like manipulative or in a fake way, but sometimes we can learn from other people, so we can kind of fit in to, you know, maybe you amalgamate into your friend group a little bit, you know, you might take on traits of your friends, you know, when you meet new people, you might take on traits of them, and that isn't necessarily to say that it's fake, but sometimes we can be a bit of a chameleon, and we can take inspiration from other people, you know, as long as you're not being lying about it, you know, not in a negative sense of like shape-shifting to fit in, but taking on traits from the people that we inspire to be like, or people that inspire us, or, you know, the people that we love as well, you know. You know, me and Leon have very, very different likes and dislikes, but we both kind of try, you know, those things that we both like, just to kind of, you know, get along and experience what the other person kind of likes. And it's interesting, and you will find that you actually do like some things that you might not have thought you did. So it's very much about kind of trying new things, but also being the kind of person that you want to be in the future. So if you do have aspirations that you're not quite meeting yet, think about that and think about lining up to be that kind of person. But also do a unicorn card as well, for Watch Geeks there. So flow, okay. So find an easier path forwards, surrender the outcome, release your expectations. Okay, so some messages there: finding an easier path forwards, surrendering the outcome, and releasing your expectations. But flow as well, so being in that kind of state of flow. The state of flow, so I do often talk about these kind of phases that we go through. We go through the phase of you know, putting our, like, really proactively taking action, doing manifestations, pushing against the tide to get to where we want to be, which is very needed in a lot of times. But we also have these phases and periods where we need to sit back, relax, and let the universe now take all of those manifestations, those actions that we've done, and that energy we've put out there, and carry us along now to where, you know, it wants us to go as well. And that's very much like with spell work as well, or manifestation work, about letting that energy settle sometimes. So sometimes I talk to people who get, you know, they're constantly manifesting, they're doing a spell like every week, and sometimes you need to be in that flow state where you just take a step back, you just allow the universe to now carry those manifestations, take you, you know, down that tide. So yes, you may be in that phase at the moment, the flow state. So Lalima, is my friend Shneya presently away from her home because she is guided by, I don't think I can pronounce that one, but is my friend S presently away from her home because she is guided by A? I will do that. No, that comes as no. Watch Geek says, tell me about it with twin flames, their soulmates. I've learned a lot about it over the past 3 years, and it's like you say, turbulence versus balance, and being hard to move forward. Yes, it's very, very true. It's very true. And it's not to say it isn't worth it as well, you know. Twin flame relationships can be very worth it for the ups, but it certainly is turbulence. Lima, did I ever deal with a twin or soulmate romantically, and when was it? No. Actually, what's coming through at the moment is that your soulmate is on your path, but not yet. So your soulmate's on your path, but not yet. But it doesn't look like you've dealt with a twin flame. It doesn't look like, no? Jan, has Caden been talking to or playing games with M? I have a feeling he was playing with her the 19th and hid it from me. Okay. Okay, so it does look like there has been a game somewhat recently. It doesn't really seem like it was that recent, the 19th. But yes, it does look like there's been a game at some point. Jasmine, there is a spirit that tends to brush my hairline and my arm and make noise to alert me of things. Who is it? Okay. Okay, this is a fae spirit, so this is a fae spirit that is with you there. I really have to go. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm really going to have to go, and I'm very sorry, guys. I really hope to see you soon. I definitely will be on weekly from now on. So I do appreciate your your patience. I really do appreciate your patience, guys. I will yeah, I really appreciate your patience, guys, and I will be on weekly from now on. So yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. So I really appreciate your patience. I will be doing streams from crystal ball streams every week from now on, and that is besides members only crystal balls as well, which should be 2 a month, so 6 in total. And 2 will be members only, so it'll be a bit easier for you guys. Yes, it'll be easier for you guys. So yeah, stay in touch. Hope to see you again soon. Really sorry if I didn't get to you today. Do look out for the next one. Like I said, I have to help my mother now with her furniture, so I wouldn't really run off if I didn't have to. I'm very sorry to do so, but I do hope to see you soon. Yeah, I do hope to see you soon, and love, light and blessings to each of you. I'm so sorry to not get to everyone's questions. I do hope to see you in a stream soon.